In today's video, we're reacting to a viral clip of a woman breaking down exactly why she refuses to go 50-50 with a man, especially with a guy who's earning $30K a year. She talks about being able to spot provider men from a mile away, and how average guys just don't stand a chance with someone like her. With women leveling up so fast these days, she wonders why they even need men in the first place since we no longer have anything to offer. But let's get into it.
If you are really expecting a man that earns £30,000 to be able to pay rent, pay electric bill, pay gas bill, because I know they don't speak about any of these bills on social media, pay council tax, plus also be able to buy groceries, be able to also live a life because he's a human being too, who needs to be able to maintain himself by buying clothes and his hair done, you're insane.
Now, what this woman's saying is absolutely true. There's so much talk about women wanting this provider guy, but the reality is, most people aren't going to be able to find someone like that. There just aren't enough people earning over six figures who can fully support a family on one income alone. People are spending way too much time online watching these podcasts because they're starting to buy into the notion that they can all find a man like this. Someone who can completely fund their lavish lifestyle so they don't have to lift a finger.
See, for me, the whole 50-50 conversation is funny because a lot of women know the men that are going to make them go 50-50. You can suss them up from a mile away. I've done a video on this before. You can tell the men that are going to go 50-50 with you and the men who are going to provide. You can see them. So if you know that's not what you want, just don't go there. And you cannot shift a man's mindset to going from believing in 50-50 to becoming a provider. You just need to know the lifestyle that you want and go for the guy that's going to give you that. You can't train them. If that means you have to date outside of your culture and race, so be it. A lot of you want what you want, but you're not willing to change or compromise to get there. So pay 50-50.
Depends on what you want in life. If you set out being transactional, you'll attract men who want transactional relationships. Others opted for valuing emotional connection. They tend to be married.
Married? But are they happy is the question. Transactions can be two ways, even if the man is providing.
Life's changed. It's expensive and very hard to do on your own. If you work for a living, the idea is to build together. Don't be afraid to invest in your future.
Which is why everyone has to get up and get busy. You can't use women as business partners because times are hard.
It's not using. It's combining to create more, achieve stability, financial freedom. Your family is your business.
You should already be in a position to do that on your own. Then anything else added is a bonus. There's no combining finances. That's a business partner.
So, you want women to use men by your logic.
The truth of the matter is, marriage and relationships are a business. And I'm not saying you should treat it as such every day. But why are we acting like contracts don't get signed when two people make vows to each other? The concept of marriage has been romanticized so much that people are blinded by what's actually going on, which is why so many guys end up suffering like hell in divorce court. Nobody ever told them that shit could get that bad.
Why didn't you tell me?
The last guy who commented hit the nail on the head though, because she talks about how men shouldn't use women or see them as business partners. But she's more than happy to be a drain on a guy's wallet. If she doesn't want to go 50-50 in a relationship, that's fine. Everyone can go for whatever the hell they want. But she better be willing to compromise on all sorts of things in a relationship where her input isn't required. I'm not going to say all high-earning or provider men cheat, but let's be real. If a guy's making money like that and is halfway desirable to women, which I would assume he is if she chose to settle with him, women like this shouldn't be shocked when a guy like that's dipping his toes in someone else's honey. This isn't to say that regular dudes don't cheat, because they do. It's just that the chances are much higher with a guy who's making good money.
Crazy, like, the society that we're in. I was having a conversation. You know, I'm always having a conversation, chat. And it's interesting because the women are in their healing era, their glow up era, their finance era, their everything to do with their own personal growth era, which I think is a pro and con, because now I think women have poured into themselves so much that men do not stand a chance, right? The girlies are talking about like girls trips, and they're talking about Mauritius, they're talking about Maldives, like they're not talking about Croatia and Malta anymore. So imagine if like the girlies are pouring into themselves at such a high level. Where do men now come in to match this level? And I think this is what the issue is. I think their standards are now so high because of the work they're doing on themselves that men do not know the avenue to penetrate. Like there's no, unless you're coming to match her at that standard, which is now so high, it's void. This is what's happening in the dating scene. Whew.
It's always funny when individuals like this talk about how women are making their own money these days, because it never seems to be about building a family. It's always about how they can live that lifestyle they always dreamed of. And unless a guy's able and willing to step into the frame to make their life even more glamorous, they're not interested. Of course, if you're young, or even if you're older, and you're making good money, you should enjoy it. But you shouldn't be unwilling to contribute to the household if you're a high earner. I mean, if you're not gonna do that, why not just live on your own and go through life solo? Which I guess is what some women are doing, because they're having a rough time finding a guy who's on their level or above. The problem that successful women have to deal with is being able to find happiness with a guy who isn't as successful as they are, but can still be an amazing partner in other ways. But overriding that desire isn't going to be an easy thing, but I guess we're going to have to see how this all works out. Anyway, let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.